I work in a hospital in an administrative corridor. It's in the middle of nowhere in the hospital, as in not a lot of foot traffic from staff or patients. As a result, there is a single toilet on our corridor to cover our 5 offices. The door to the toilet is opposite my office door. We all go on break and lunch together 90% of the time, leaving the corridor empty for 30-50 mins. We started noticing every now and then that someone was using the toilet while we were out. In itself, not a problem, but the smell and occasional mess wasn't always fully flushed or blocked was awful. There's no windows, so no way to dissipate the smell, and air freshener was irritating. Over the last few months, it's been happening more and more regularly. It can be 3 times a week or twice in one day. Sometimes we have no idea who is doing it, and there's no pattern to it. Also, no one really wants to confront the culprit if we did see them, so we were just living with it, gross as it is. 2 weeks ago, all but one of us went on break, and a patient wandered into the corridor, was acting strangely, and blocked the colleague in her office. She was pretty shaken up, but thankfully we do have panic buttons in our offices. Afterward, I submitted a request for a lock on the corridor. It's one of those key code ones, and a bell. It's mildly annoying, but we get very little traffic outside, mail and a few DRS, so it's not like we constantly have to let people in. It got installed on Wednesday last week, and Friday I got an email from one of the medical secretaries who works on a different floor asking for the code to our corridor. I responded, "Why would she need it?" Immediately my phone rings. She explains she has bowel issues that she takes laxatives for, and the toilet on our corridor is one of the only single cubicle toilets in the hospital, and it has the most privacy, so she will be stuck without it. Where I might be the I told her I was sorry, but I didn't think we would be giving the code to any non-necessary staff, and hung up. The office is a bit mixed. Most are glad we won't have to deal with the stink she leaves behind, but one girl thinks we are being needlessly cruel, and it's not the reason we have the lock, so we shouldn't gatekeep a toilet, and one is flip-flopping. I do feel bad for her, but she was making our work environment seriously unpleasant on a regular basis. So AITA? TLDRI may be TA for refusing to give the code for our corridor door to a member of staff from a different department, meaning she can no longer use our toilet. Her update. So a few things happened, so thought I'd update. I had an HR meeting scheduled Wednesday last week, but they canceled the day before, saying the issue had been resolved. I still wanted a meeting, but things were manic, so we rescheduled for Tuesday this week. I was working from home the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday last week. Due to my youngest being ill, I got a text Friday mid-morning from the office saying they thought someone had been in and used the toilet while they were on break. On Monday, one of the girls had a meeting with their kids' school and decided to work through her break and leave early. About 5 minutes after everyone left, she heard the door open and saw someone she didn't know. As per policy, she challenged her, as in asked who she was to see her ID and why she was here, and she was told she was Medical Secretary Mississippi from here on, and she had permission to use the bathroom on our corridor. When I came back from break, I emailed HR along the lines, regarding the situation with MS, I have been made aware that she has been granted access to our department in order to use the bathroom. I would have appreciated being made aware of this decision, as we leave our personal belongings in the office, as we understood it was a secure area with access only for those who need to be there. I would also like to know why I wasn't consulted on this decision as manager of the department, as I previously had to sign off on security access for other staff members with access. I would be grateful if you could please add these to the discussion points for tomorrow's meeting. Well, to say shit the fan after sending the email would be an understatement. I was immediately called and asked what this was about. Why would MS need to use our bathroom? At this point, I forwarded my previous email correspondence along with a summary of our phone conversation. HR said they would get back to me. Turns out her friend's husband works in the hospital, and both told about our toilet and subsequently gave her the code after I declined to give it to her. They didn't say who he is, but implied they were taking this issue seriously, but that solves the mystery of how she found it in the first place. She no longer has access to our bathroom. The code has been reset, and we received a site-wide email reminding everyone of the importance of security, not giving out access codes, and confronting people who you believe are in an inappropriate location, not going to areas you have no business in. The gossip mill is in full force around the hospital, but I am trying to keep out of it as much as possible. I'm just glad we won't have to deal with it anymore. Hopefully that's the end of it. It's practically impossible to fire people in the NHS, so I doubt there will be serious consequences. Update. So the saga should hopefully be over. I had a request for a meeting with HR a few weeks after the initial incident. The secretary, who we shall call Val for the purposes of the story, can't remember if I gave her a name last time, had gotten a DRS letter and was asking for access to our department bathroom, and did I have any objections? I had been kinda expecting this, so I countered with, I don't have objections but reservations. Number 1, our department is very far away from Val's office. Number 2, the lack of extraction window makes it very unpleasant environment for us to work in. Number 3, most importantly, if she were to gain access, she would be expected to leave it in the condition she found it. Number 4, we didn't really feel it was appropriate for a person to have unlimited access to the department just to use our toilet. HR pressed on point 3, and I explained the history of Val leaving the toilet a mess. I also pointed out there are several clinic sluices which require a key to access much closer, and perhaps one of those would be more suitable. I went on a recon mission shortly after this all happened. Anyway, HR agreed, and she now has a key to the toilet in outpatients. Under the provision she keeps it clean, she can basically have her own private bathroom. The porter who told her about our toilet and then gave Val the code apologized to us in person. Turns out she's actually his SIL, so my original intel was wrong. He claims she was embarrassed to ask for accommodation, and he was pressured by his wife to give her the door code. When I refused, he realizes it was wrong, and we agreed not to hold it against him. So all in all, a pretty boring conclusion, but I'm glad it's over.